Welcome to Pure Truth Podcast. This is your host and producer, Lucas Bealey. And today, so if you're joining, welcome to Pure Truth Podcast. This is your host and producer, Lucas Bealey. Today I'm talking about, this is Enoch Day. So I'm going through the book of Enoch. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Share this with 3 people. Subscribe and ring the bell notification. Now, last night, I looked in the book of Enoch, and I went to Enoch chapter 77, and I went to the 7 greatest rivers that Enoch was, that he saw. And I, looked at that, I studied that. And so that's what we are talking about today. That's what we're going to be talking about today is those rivers that he saw. And then where Enoch is going with this. But before I get started here, just remember again, hit that thumbs up, share this with 3 people, and go to, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell notification so you're notified when I go live. And don't forget to check out Bealey, a comedy series, season 1. That's pinned in the comments. And it would be in the comments later, where you can go and watch the replay of this live. It would also be there as well. You can go check that out. That's on Amazon. And the link will lead you right to Bealey, a comedy series. This is the first book that I published, but it's not going to be the last. There's going to be others that collectively are going to create a series. But this is the first season out, and I am working on season 2, so that, you can go on Amazon and check that out. So Enoch chapter 77, jumping down to the 7 great rivers that he's seen, greater than any other rivers. Now, I originally thought that these were the 7 biggest rivers in the entire world. I found out today, this morning, before I got on, I, scrambled, like the Lord put a thought in my mind, and I scrambled around this morning. So I didn't really have much time to do much more research this morning. But this morning, the Lord put something in my mind, and I did a little more research. But I found out that these are not the 7 biggest rivers in the world. These are the 7 biggest rivers in the area. And I found out that 4 of them are in China. 4 of them are in China, and 3 of them are in Russia. Now, it's interesting. The 3, there's 2 in Russia that see, the book of Enoch doesn't really make it very clear where these rivers are, dumping their water. It just says the Ethiopian Sea or the Great Sea. And well, because we changed, and I know people, scholars will say, well, the Ethiopian Sea is actually, here or whatever. But the thing is, we've changed the names of these seas and other places. And when I look at these rivers, all these rivers are not really dumping in the places that scholars have called the Ethiopian Sea and Great Sea. So, however, I did find two rivers in Russia that one, and I'm looking at my notes here, one dumps into the Gulf of Ob. And interesting enough, the other one dumps into Kara Sea, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the Gulf and the Kara Sea are basically, connected. When you look at the map, they are connected. So technically, going back to Enoch's time, looking at it through the lens of Enoch, he probably, thought that it was one sea, connected. And then it's interesting how there is a third river, and the third river doesn't. The third river in Russia doesn't flow into up there in the North Sea, but interesting enough, it does flow into the Caspian Sea. So there is, and hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly. There's a river in Russia called the Volga River, and I don't know, I probably did not pronounce that correctly, but it's located in Russia. That's the third river that is located in Russia, and it flows into the Caspian Sea. Now, yes, I know that is south of where the other two dump their water, but get this: in the book of Enoch, it says that one of these seas actually dumps its water in a desert. And if you look at a map, the Caspian Sea dumps its river into a desert, into desert lands. So it's actually interesting how even though this river that I'm talking about in Russia dumping its water in a different sea than the other two, this sea dumps its water into a desert. And I looked at Google Earth, and I can see where it would be dumping its water in a desert. So I know maybe many scholars may not agree, but trust me, I mean, I've looked at this so many times, and it does, like what I'm saying is, from the book of Enoch, when it talks about a sea dumping its waters into a desert, that's what I'm saying is that's what you find here. is that there's a river in Russia that dumps its water into the Caspian Sea, and the Caspian Sea dumps its water into a desert. Basically, the same as what the Book of Enoch is suggesting. Um, so even though it's dumping its water south of the other two rivers, the other two big rivers in Russia that dump their sea up north. Um, I still count that as the third sea, or the third river that Enoch is would be talking about. Um, just based off of that Caspian Sea dumping its waters into a desert. Um, so, and then it's interesting. When I first started there, I also found two rivers in China. I found two rivers in China, that one dumps their sea in a gulf, and the other one dumps its waters in East China Sea. However, so the Yellow River dumps in a gulf. That gulf is actually connected to a sea that is called Yellow Sea. But then that Yellow Sea, like if you go just a little further south, that's where the East China Sea is located. And all of those seas are actually connected together. So again, um, it looks like if you go back to you put your shoes, you put your feet in Enoch's shoes, you got to ask yourself, what is Enoch seeing? He doesn't know that later all of these seeds are actually going to be called different names, is what I'm saying. He's not going to know that. And so what he's just seeing, like he's just seeing water, like he's just seeing these gulfs and seas kind of connected. And so yeah, in our time we call them different names, but I guarantee you in Enoch's time, he would have just saw one big sea. And it's interesting how the Yellow River, and there's another river from China that they flow pretty much in the same region. Well, I looked it up this morning. I found so there's the Pearl River, which there's a Pearl River in the United States, but this is not the Pearl River that we're talking about. This Pearl River would be in China. And when I looked at Google Earth, the Pearl River dumps its water in South China Sea. So South China Sea is still a sea that kind of is connected to the East China Sea, just south of that. And so then there's another river in China. Now, I couldn't necessarily find exactly where this river dumps into, but when I read, when I did a little research about it, um, I was able to find out that there's like up to like 3, maybe 5 rivers I don't know exactly how many. I kind of just glanced, but it looked like this river in China was connected, was dumping its water into several different rivers. And it looked like when I looked at a map, it looked like one or possibly two of these rivers that it dumped into a sea very, very close to the other three rivers that we're talking about in China. Um, and so, looking at that, those would be so. Um, when I did the study last night, when I did the research last night, I found that there is three rivers that are supposedly dumping into the Great Sea, and four rivers that supposedly dump into the Ithraean Sea. Now, interesting enough, I did find three rivers in Russia. Now, obviously, again, there are two that dump into a sea north of Russia and one south. But interesting that the one south, that sea does dump into a desert, which the book of Enoch also talks about. And then the other four rivers supposedly dump into the Ithraean Sea. And so I did find four rivers in China that, they both dump in different locations, but they all dump in that surrounding area. Um, dump into water that basically is all connected. Um, and so that's that's what I'm saying is there's four in China and three rivers in Russia that the book of Enoch is talking about. So it's not talking about the seven biggest rivers in the world. It's talking about the seven biggest rivers in that region. And three of them are in Russia, and four of them are in China. So now, where is Enoch going with this? Where is he going with this? One thing that I can say is he's laying out a map. He's laying out a map. Now, where is he going with this other than laying out a map? That is to be determined. Because right now I have only looked at the seven rivers, which I don't exactly know yet exactly where Enoch is going with this. But I can say that he's laying out a map. He's laying out a map of the world. He's laying out a map, a location. So, and then I don't know what else he's trying to tell us here, but I will say this as I get to my closing statements is I'm going to take a break from going. So each day of the week, except for Sundays, I have a topic for that day. Well, I'm actually going to take a break so I can study this further and I can do more research to try to figure out where Enoch is going with this and what is Enoch trying to tell us. Um, I'm really wanting to figure that out. And so um, I'm actually going to need a lot of your prayers, and I'm going to be praying as well that God would reveal where Enoch is going. Um, but I already know that he's laying on a map, that Enoch is laying on a map. Um, and I have found these 7 rivers that he is talking about. However, there's still more research to be done because there are 7 islands and then there's 7 mountains, uh, and so on and so forth, that he talks about in chapter 77. And so I would like to take the time to not only study that, but do research to try to figure out where he's going. Because again, I find out that Enoch isn't really talking about the 7 biggest rivers in the entire world. He's talking about the 7 biggest rivers in the location on where he's at, and I found those rivers. But there's more research to be done to figure out, where he's actually going. Now, again, I know that he's trying to lay out um, a map to somewhere. Um, Obviously, we find out that later uh, in the book of Enoch, we find out that he does go on a travel with an angel to the Garden of Eden. And so, does this map that he's trying to lay out for us, would it be, trying to help us find where Eden is? I'm not exactly for sure right now. So that's why I'm taking a break, um, and I'm going to commit myself to this research, to try to find out more about these pieces uh, of a map that he's laying out for us. And so again, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, share this with 3 people. um, don't be afraid to comment. Don't be afraid to put your. Now I ask again, like always, be respectful of your comments, and don't act like you're a know-it-all, or act like you have the answer, because I mean there's just a lot of people um, I know that have studied these, and they have all different answers. Um, and my answer at the end of this is probably going to be different from theirs. Um, but if we can, try to come together, and it's okay to come together and maybe discover this together, is what I'm eventually hoping that we would be able to do, because none of us have the answer. I I have looked at many different locations of just where scholars have placed this or that, and they have different locations for a lot of things. So I haven't yet found where somebody has the answer, is what I'm trying to get at. But if we work together, hopefully we can find the answer. And that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to find the answer. Now I know that there's some that might, still disagree, but that's what I'm doing in my research, is I'm trying to find the answer, because through other research, I've found many answers that I don't really know if one of them would be the answer. And so that's what has got me motivated to, do more of my own research to hopefully find the answer. So that's the reason why I'm decided this morning that I'm probably going to be off from going live for, I don't know, like maybe a few days, maybe a week. I don't really know, but that's what the reason why I'm deciding to kind of take a break, and so I can do more research and hopefully find the answer until all of this. And so I would appreciate your prayers that the Lord would reveal uh, the answer, and I would be praying as well. Um, Again, before I close, uh, two things before I close. Don't forget to like, share with 3 people, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification so you know when I'm live next. And if I can grab it here, don't forget to check out Beauty, a Comedy Series, Season 1 on Amazon. And again, this is the only season out right now, but I am working on, season 2. And so, but I am working on a fictionary book as well as working on season 2. So I can't, really say when season 2 is going to come out, because I'm also working on another book along with season 2. And this other book is a fictionary book that's going to be very, very similar to The Lord of the Rings. That kind of deals in this fictionary book that I'm also writing, is also going to deal with, spiritual warfare and, the damage of what sin does to this world, and things like that. So I'm kind of working on 2 books right now at kind of the same time, so I can't really say exactly when season 2 will be on Amazon, but you'll be able to click on that link and it will lead you to Amazon, and you can get Beauty, a Comedy Series, Season 1. Thanks for your time, and I don't know when I'll be back live, but hope to see you all soon. Thanks for your time.